it's always kind of ironic that we find that we feel we don't know a lot about agriculture when it's the one thing that everyone actually takes part in, right?
Right.
So we all eat, but we all sometimes as well don't think we know, but I think we know a lot more than we do. I think what we don't know is about how these scales happen, and how technology has actually played into things and how it's really kind of driven the development of many countries from the beginning, which was their agriculture. So as far as F3 is concerned, what we're trying to do is just promote more of that, let's say, adoption aspect, more creative thought to travel. Originally, what we thought was from trying to develop this economic aspect from the rural areas, but more so trying to really, at this point, bring them together. We see a lot of the creativity without the specific experience, without the on-the-ground experience in the academic centers in Silicon Valley. But there's much more of the creative use experience and everyday experience in those rural areas in agriculture, because at the end of the day, the goal is to get it done however you can. The technology and kind of ease of use aspects of things sometimes actually don't necessarily make agriculture easier. They may make it more compliant. But what we're trying to really demonstrate here and show investors is that there's a lot of overlap between a lot of other areas. Actually, a lot of technologies we use in the biotech side or general understanding of nature and ourselves actually comes from having studied animals first. But what we see is a much greater investment, obviously, on human health, and we want to take some of those aspects and push it back towards ag in that sense. Because at the end of the day, it's kind of an interesting scenario where we're actually, let's say, more inclined to put synthetic substances into our body, but we don't necessarily want to put them into the animals we consume or the plants we consume. And that's really kind of where organic has gone and all of these things, and different subsectors of the food industry over time, because we're more cognizant of that. And this is where I think we're trying to bring together a lot of these aspects, whether it's environmental, whether it's ag, whether it's even the cyber aspects now that we see. Kind of interestingly enough, F3 has been at the forefront of looking at cyber technology concerns for the last 2 years, and now as of this year, the biggest cyber concerns in the US and most recently are having to do with our food supply chain. So these are a lot of the areas that we're trying to do, which is to bring all of these sides that we're aware of together to determine whether everyone really does have that information, and to provide more of that overlap in information to show both sides that there are ways to make money that may be generally just in front of them. They just may not know about. So there's definitely a lot of opportunities in ag for technology to flow over to the biotech or software side, and there's a lot of opportunity from the reciprocal. One of the biggest things we've seen in that area really is actually trying to get software to merge a little bit better with agriculture. There are probably more versions of ag-related software and farm management and integration software that I've seen for any particular sector, but at the same time have the lowest amount of adoption, because there are so many integral ways that it works, and at the same time you have to make sure that it's not just digitizing what we already do. It has to have a value. It has to be make life easier, change labor, or add some compliant aspect to it.